Downtown Miami, tonight's night is falling. Fans are coming and coming indoors as the Braves and the Marlins play Game 2 of a 3-game series. The Braves winners last night, 11-0. Ceremonies going on the field right now. Baseball right around the bend. The Fish trying to bounce back against their Eastern Division rivals. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome to Miami. 11-0. Braves open this series with a statement. The good news about baseball is it's Game 1 of a 3-game series.
You know, you'll hear managers tell everybody you'd rather lose 11-0 than 2-1. You're right back at it again. Actually, it was the worst beating the Marlins have taken all year. But, again, 2 more games in this series.
To add to it, a certain second baseman, whom the Marlins used to employ, whom we like very much, set his own personal milestone yesterday. He had a pair of home runs. His name is Dan Uggla, and he proved it again last night.
Boy, he sure did. He hit numbers 199 and number 200, and number 200 was off the sculpture. But Dan Uggla swinging the bat the way we know he can. 5 years with the Marlins. This is a guy who plays all the time. He hits home runs. 5 consecutive seasons of 30 or more home runs. He's also averaged 158 games a year, so he's out there playing all the time, and he hit a monster blast last night off the sun. You hear guys hit moonshots? Uggla hit a sun shot last night.
Don't look into the sun, Tommy. Just don't. Uggla, his career numbers, he's off to a great start. Remember the awful start that he had last year. Those are the career numbers against the Fish. Okay, so the question is, who's going to stop the Braves and Dan Uggla tonight? And in our pitching matchup, Josh Johnson gets a shot at shutting down the Bravos. Randall Delgado, a youngster out of Panama, goes for the Braves.
It's a great question. We used to always ask the question, who's going to stop the rain? But Randall Delgado, a youngster, 22, he can be in and out, but does have good stuff. JJ, coming off a win, his last 6 starts, he's 3-0, and in those last 6 starts, the Marlins have won all 6 of those games.
Come to think of it, we can be in and out as well. Tonight, we'll try to stay on it for you as the Marlins and the Braves play Game 2 in Miami. Stick around. Baseball around the bend. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. In Miami, ready to go. Marlins, Braves. Let's start out in center field. Greg Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gentlemen.
Rich, thank you very much. Good evening again, everybody. No coincidence, Jeff, that the Marlins have gone 23-10 since May 1st, and Jose Reyes has been on fire since May 1st.
Yeah, he had a struggle in April, the month of April, and I'll tell you what, he's really been doing well since Emilio Bonifacio got on the DL. He's really picked up the slack, stolen bases in a current 15-game hitting streak right now, and this is the player that the Marlins expected from in the offseason.
This kind of hustle, too, that you saw the bloop against Washington. He wound up turning it into a double. It's his 16th 10-plus game hit streak for Reyes, and his fourth at the level of 15 games or better. And I liked even last night, little front face hit, too. He's mixed that in a little bit to his game lately.
He's got a lot of weapons, and I'll tell you what, his speed and energy is infectious. Really pumps up a team. He really gets into the game, and I think everyone feeds off of that.
I love the smile. You love the way he plays. If you watch him every day, you really appreciate. You know what Met fans really loved about Jose Reyes, and he's not even playing at that level yet, but he's going in that direction, and especially here at home. He's hitting .355 here at Marlins Park since May the 1st. All right, we've got baseball coming at you. Are you ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series? Randall Delgado will toe the slab for the Braves against Josh Johnson. Rich and Tommy with the call next.
Josh Johnson ready to rock and roll. Pincher Penny brings you the first pitch. Michael Bourne digs in, and JJ delivers a fastball at 92 miles an hour. Strike one, says Lance Barksdale, and we're underway with the Braves and the Marlins. Game 2 of a 3-game series. JJ fires another strike, and quickly he's out in front 0-2.
You don't want to read too much into just 2 pitches, but that's the earliest, I think, in a game JJ's gotten a 94 with that second fastball.
Breaking ball misses down low. A 90-mile-an-hour slider. Bourne actually wasn't at the bottom of most of the damage, which is a surprise. The speedy leadoff guy's having a very good year. He swings and misses, and JJ punches out the Braves leadoff man. Here's the Braves lineup. Freddie Gonzalez, their skipper. They improved to 30-25 Heck, everybody's in the thick of the East race. Martin Prado's coming up. Brian McCann's hitting third. His name is Dan Uggla. 2 homers last night. Freddie Freeman at first base. Jason Hayward in right. Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop out of Curacao. Randall Delgado, the pitcher, hits 8th, and as Freddie did last night, he's got Jose Constanza, the speedy left fielder, in the 9 spot with his pitcher hitting 8th. Here is Martin Prado. Prado, a couple hits last night, and he takes a strike from JJ. It is 0-1. Prado and the Braves last night jumped the Marlins. Worst loss for the Fish this year. An 11-0 ball game. Peterson got a good break on that line drive, and he's there to make the catch.
Boy, we saw some nice defense last night on both sides. Let's check it out. The Marlins defensively, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. You saw the outfield. Ruggiano with the start tonight. Peterson and Giancarlo. Hanley and Reyes, Infante and Logan Morrison. John Buck had some nice swings in the game last night. But the Marlins made some nice defensive plays, as did the Braves.
Brian McCann digs in, and JJ takes aim. Fastball outside corner. The McCann shift is on. Jose Reyes, Marlins shortstop, on the first base side of the bag, with Infante and Morrison over there on the right side. JJ misses out. McCann, who was banged up and out of the Braves lineup for 3 or 4 days, back in last night, though he was 0 for 4. He fouls that breaking pitch off. Counts 1-2.
McCann, one of the few Braves hitters that's seen JJ a lot. 8 for 36. That's just a .222 average. JJ hasn't faced Atlanta since last April.
Breaking ball misses low and away. McCann, as Tommy pointed out last night, has been to 6 consecutive National League All-Star games. He might be pushed, though, this year, with the year that Carlos Ruiz is having, the year that Yadier Molina is having, even Buster Posey.
Buster Posey, too,
is having a good season. And McCann, against the shift, lines one into left field over Hanley Ramirez's head. A 2-out single, and here comes Uggla.
This is why Brian McCann is such an outstanding hitter. He's a near .290 career hitter. A little bit of a slow start. He's been banged up, as Rich mentioned, a couple of times, but that's just a beautiful swing from the Braves catcher.
Uggla certainly enjoyed his first night in Marlins Park. As you heard him on Marlins Live last night, he said it's something that he always looked forward to when he was in the organization, that the players always talked about the one day the Marlins would finally get a new park. Uggla, of course, a Brave last year, walked in the place with wide eyes yesterday and nearly brought the house down, literally, banging a homer off the Clevelander and then socking one right off the sun of the home run sculpture out in center field. Breaking ball from JJ, a strike. It's 1-1.
We've seen good sliders, some curveballs, and a good fastball early on from Josh Johnson. Randy St. Clair likes that.
Uggla has faced his good friend and former teammate just 3 times, 0 for 3. Remember, JJ was shut down last year after 9 starts. 95 on that fastball. This is the one that hit the home run sculpture. It was originally estimated at 432. HitTrackerOnline.com, true distance 445. So from here to the sun, Tommy, we now know it's 445.
Yeah, with a resounding, booming noise as well once it hit the sun on the sculpture.
That was actually the ball burning up on re-entry. Giancarlo Stanton, of course, the first to hit one off of the sculpture, but Uggla is the first to hit the bullseye.
Uggla, the longest visiting home run so far this year.
2-2 coming from Josh Johnson. Fastball just missed. And JJ's velocity's been up. And take a look at Fox Tracks. Pitch number 5 was in.
Just missed inside.
Uggla is having a very good year in terms of patience. He is on pace to break his career record in walks. Can on the move. Uggla rips it to center. Peterson right there, and he makes the catch. Uggla hit it on the button. That's good scouting. In Miami, Josh Johnson has already pitched a half inning. Now Randall Delgado to the mound. Delgado, his 11th start. He's at 3-5. He's just 22, out of Panama, and were it not for the struggles of Jair Jurgens, who was in AAA, as Tommy pointed out, Randall Delgado probably wouldn't be in the big leagues. He'd still be learning his craft, but the Braves are happy and encouraged by the youngster. And he'll take on the Marlins tonight. Jose Reyes stands in, and Delgado's ready to go to work. He made 7 starts last year, and his first pitch to Reyes is a fastball that's popped foul and out of play.
Yeah, he started the season last year in AA and had 21 starts. Then just 4 starts in AAA before being called up to the Braves at 22 years old. Still working at his craft. But he was reasonably healthy last year. Had 32 starts between those 3 stops.
He actually got off to a nice 2-0 start right out of the blocks. But then he went 7 starts in which he went 0-5 before he won his last time out against St. Louis. Reyes pulls it, and Freeman gobbles it up. Out number 1, and here's the Marlins lineup. Reyes, followed by Omar Infante at second base. Hanley Ramirez is at third. Giancarlo Stanton in right field. Logan Morrison at first. Here's the change, so to speak. Justin Ruggiano gets a start against a right-hander nonetheless. And Ruggiano's out in left field. Brian Peterson in center. John Buck had some good swings last night. And Josh Johnson hits 9th. And here is Infante against Randall Delgado. Infante's average has dipped to 309. He did have a hit last night. Delgado pours across another fastball. And quickly it's 0-2.
Infante, Rich, is having one of those hitting streaks, unlike Jose Reyes. Infante's hit in 6 consecutive games, but he's gotten just 1 hit in each of those games. So just 6 for 25 during that time.
Delgado misses away, and it counts 1-2. Freddie Gonzalez with a young pitcher out there. The Braves have a lot of good young arms who have either arrived in the big leagues or are on their way to the big leagues. Broken bat roller to third. Prado around it. And he throws his good friend Infante out. 2 outs.
It's a very good defensive team. Very sure-handed are the Braves. Lots of speed with Constanza, Bourne, and Hayward in the outfield. Prado and the youngster Andrelton Simmons. Ugla and Freddie Freeman. Freddie very good around the bag at first. Brian McCann behind the plate. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic.
Here's Hanley Ramirez, an 0 for 3 night last night. Hanley, of course, had a very nice trip in Philly. Hit 3 home runs against the Phillies. The Marlins taking 2 of 3 against Philadelphia. Hanley drove in 4 runs in that series. But no one really had a big night offensively last night. Marlins were shut out by Tim Hudson, a 5-hitter. Hudson was outstanding when he needed to be. He was able to get some double play grounders. He as well, and he admitted it after the ball game, had some balls hit hard at people. Then he, as Tommy alluded to, got a great night from both Bourne in center and Constanza in left.
Yeah, they ran down a few. Brian Peterson hit a couple of balls hard.
John Buck out there in left center. Lost an extra base hit as well. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Slow breaking ball. And Hanley out front. Counts 1-2.
Hanley was 0 for 3 last night, but he has hit really well in this ballpark. Hit over 350 at Marlins Park this year.
One, two coming. And a hard, boring fastball at 94 struck him out. Impressive stuff from the 22-year-old. Definition brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Second inning, Coventry Healthcare second inning. Josh Johnson goes to work. And J.J.'s pitch to Freddie Freeman is fouled off. Freeman, Hayward, and Simmons.
We talked a little bit last night, Rich, about the eye problems that Freddie Freeman has had. And right now he's experimenting with some different contacts because he would really prefer to wear contacts and not the glasses that he did wear for a couple of games.
Much easier for a hitter, and I speak from experience, wearing contacts than wearing glasses, because with the peripheral vision, with your head turned, trying to look that way, it's not easy with glasses.
Only guys like Chris Sabo could get away with it.
Well, even Sable wore the goggles.
Yeah, he wore those goggles.
Jason Hayward now. He goes after the first pitch. Morrison gets there and steps on the bag. JJ gave up a single to Brian McCann. Dan Uggla lined hard to center to end that first. But a couple of quick outs here in the second. And Andrelton Simmons, the young shortstop, who's a real interesting story. A guy that is from Curacao, went to junior college in Oklahoma, Western Oklahoma Junior College, and the Braves drafted him in the second round in 2010. Coming into this year, he had not played a game over single A, and here he is.
Well, he was impressive last night. 3 hits, had 3 RBIs, first career triple.
And it's amazing because young shortstops usually get to the big leagues with their bat, and everybody says, well, the glove will follow. But for Simmons, it's the glove that has him here, and the bat seems to be following. Last night, as you pointed out, the 0-2. JJ strikes him out with a slider. Pair of strikeouts for Johnson quickly to the bottom of the second.
Marlins Béisbol en español es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
In Miami tonight, Braves and Fish, 2 teams that many expect in September will be in the mix. And it's kind of looking like all 5 teams in the National League East by the time everybody gets to September will be in the mix. Washington opens with a game lead over the Marlins. The Mets are a game and a half back. Atlanta's 2 back. And the Phillies have fallen a game under 500. The Dodgers, a comeback win last night in Philadelphia. The Phillies are 5 back. Dodgers and Phillies are scoreless right now. The Nationals have scored first against the Mets, a 3-0 lead in the top of the second.
Yeah, that was an Adam LaRoche home run. I did read where both Chase Utley and Ryan Howard played in an extended spring training game.
Marlins will try to solve Randall Delgado as Giancarlo Stanton steps in. And a strike. A fine article on ESPN.com. Our good friend Jerry Krasnick.
We saw Jerry in Philadelphia.
About Giancarlo Stanton and the season that he is having. Stanton sounded like he broke the bat, and Constanza lines this one up and makes the catch.
Yeah, the ball really got in on Giancarlo, and when you throw as hard as Delgado does, he'll do that to some right-handed hitters.
Pray tell us more.
Well, we'll find out a little bit more. He has that really loose arm action. He can reach 96. We've seen 95 already. Has a very good changeup. Yeah, he's only 22. That scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare.
And he's one of the young arms that have arrived early. Julio Teheran, another prize prospect, is 5-2 in AAA. Here's Morrison, and Lomo takes outside. Of course, Jair Jurgen's down there trying to get himself back to where he was last couple of years, one of the good young pitchers in the National League. Mike Minor's in the big leagues. Brandon Beachy's here. Tommy Hansen seems to have his injury issues straightened out. Marlins won't see Hansen.
They'll see the left-hander, Mike Minor. Same matchup that we had in Atlanta. Mike Minor and Mark Burley tomorrow night.
1-1 to Morrison. Outside corner. And if the Braves get Tim Hudson the way he was last night, obviously he's not going to shut everybody out, but he came into last night's ball game with an ERA of 4.5, and that's not Tim Hudson. If Hudson reverts to form, and I think everybody expects him to, you've got to think that the Braves are going to be there in September along with everybody else. They've got such a good bullpen to go with that rotation.
That's exactly right. They always have that back end down there in the bullpen.
2-2. Morrison swings and misses, and right now Randall Delgado is blowing gas. A pair of strikeouts. However, there is this. This copyright telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Here is Justin Ruggiano.
He's seen all those fastballs from the bench, and he steps in. The first pitch he gets is a changeup.
4 for 9 as a Marlin. And a breaking ball. Tommy, there were a lot of questions with Ruggiano in the lineup against right-handers, and you really enjoyed the answer that Ozzie Guillen gave to those questions.
You know, Ozzie talked about it. He was very honest. He said the players themselves make up the lineup. Meaning, if you're not hitting, you're going to hit your way out of the lineup. If you are hitting, you're going to hit your way into the lineup. I also think last night, remember when Ruggiano and Solano pinch hit for, I think, Stanton and Hanley? And we talked about the meaningful at bat it was for Ruggiano, who got a base hit and very well could have hit his way into the lineup.
Delgado gets a strike on a check swing and a foul ball. Well, Ruggiano has been impressive. A pinch hit home run when he started. He's hit the ball well. He's a very athletic outfielder. Ozzie has complimented him on his baseball sense and made the comment, if you can play for Joe Madden, then you know you can play the game right. The 2-2 rides in.
Now we'll see Joe Madden and the Tampa Bay Rays this weekend.
Marlins will see the Rays and the Red Sox in a 12-day span, or a 12-game span, and that's it. 6 against each. Chopper to short. Simmons on to first in time, and the Marlins 1-2-3 down in the second. Challenge, which Fox Sports has always embraced. And joining us now, Michael Milken, who is an ambassador for the Home Run Challenge and one of the great philanthropists in this country. And I know you have been at the forefront of prostate cancer research and funding.
Well, it's been a great opportunity the last 17 years. Increasing awareness, teamed up with Fox Sports and Major League Baseball. And what a beautiful ballpark to come out to.
Yeah, it's a little different from the last time we saw you at the football stadium, isn't it?
That is true.
17 years now for the Home Run Challenge?
17 years. We've raised $40 million from home runs that have been hit. And the death rate from prostate cancer has dropped almost 50% from projected levels. And a lot of new therapies and men getting tested early. And it's been a real contribution. And the idea of keeping dad in the game, which was the concept. Come out, watch the All-American game here, and what better place to see it than this new ballpark right now.
And Michael, how did the whole concept come about? How did things start?
Well, I sat down with a group of owners and we talked about...
Go right ahead.
Okay, we talked about
just a strikeout. JJ does that all the time.
That was just Delgado hitting, yeah.
Well, we talked about that baseball is the American game. And when you think of sports, you can't go to a hockey game and sit there and talk as much. You can't go to a basketball game. But you can go to a ball game, watch the game, come out with your dad, your uncle, your grandfather, your brother, coworker, friend, and remind them to get tested for prostate cancer.
That one fouled back to the screen. Now, one thing we should...
And that was the idea, and that has come true. And that men get tested. There's been a lot of discussion about the test. And we'd all wish that every life-threatening disease had a test that you can get an early warning system. And the death rate today for men in America, because of this early detection, plus all of the increase in research that we've had, you have a 97% chance of living 5 years or longer in America today if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer versus 40 to 50 in Europe where they don't do testing. So I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that simple test.
It's amazing. Now, you're one of the ambassadors. You were to be joined on this trip by a guy near and dear to Tommy Hutton's heart, a former manager of the Dodgers. When he was a scout, he signed Tommy to the Dodgers. Tommy Lasorda suffered a mild heart attack the other night in New York. How's he doing?
Number one, Tommy is doing great, and he would have been here tonight if the doctors would have let him out of the hospital. Tomorrow they're letting him out of the hospital, but is there a better representative for baseball in the world than Tommy Lasorda? What an ambassador. And he has traveled around with me for 15 years. And I've been in ballparks. We probably signed 2,000 to 3,000 autographs. We've got to work a little bit on his physique, as you might have noticed here. And he's been up and down.
You can talk to him about the diet a little bit.
I've been talking to him, and as you know, nutrition plays a big role in your health. And it's important that you focus on some of these areas. And we know that cooked tomatoes are very good for men by increasing lycopene. We know that if you're going to have a hamburger or barbecue something, we know you need to flip it. The more times you flip it, the less carcinogens. So if you're going to go have that barbecued hamburger, flip it 4 times and you knock out almost half the carcinogens.
Base hit into left field. Now you also...
But Tommy is a phenomenal talent. I think he's going to join us tomorrow night at Yankee Stadium. So he'll be making his first appearance.
Now, speaking of that, your appearance...
You know, I threw that
Not
ball.
too bad,
I'm a little disappointed in Billy the Marlin. I mean, on that catch. But he's got a mitt that's almost as big as the outfield here.
Had the arm action. I like the arm action. That wasn't bad.
He needs a bigger glove. Now, Father's Day is coming up. The Home Run Challenge hasn't started yet, but next week there will be designated games, and every home run will raise so much money for prostate cancer. How can, if a fan is at home right now and wants to donate to...
We'd like you to go to PCF.org, which stands for the Prostate Cancer Foundation. PCF.org. You can pledge at these home runs for games. You can pledge $1. Last year we had 90 home runs. When they were really hitting home runs in 2000, we had 160. And if you pledge $1, it's $90. If they hit 90, if you pledge a dime, it's $9. If you pledge 100, It's more, and it also gives you tremendous information on nutrition research. Almost 30% of all the men that are diagnosed with prostate cancer do not need to do anything. It's an early warning system. Maybe you'll focus a little more on your diet and be watchful. Or you can call 1-800-798-CURE. But Tommy, we're going to wish you a great evening tonight. I know you're in a hospital in New York and you wanted to be here and watch this game. But we're bringing back a lot of memories and a lot of pictures.
Yeah,
for you
sometime you have to bring him back because he's been to so many ballparks, but he's not been to this one.
This was the only ballpark that he hadn't been in with me in America. We came down a number of years ago to the old ballpark, but what a beautiful park.
Well, maybe in October.
Maybe, well, or sooner.
Or maybe when the Dodgers
come to town. But, you know, I just can't thank Fox Sports and Major League Baseball and the Marlins. And you have just great management here at the Marlins, starting with your owner, Jeff Lurie. And what a fantastic job he has done. He's given me Moreau's palette to look at, from the blue to the red to the green to the yellow. In the park, and we all had our healthy shakes earlier today.
You had the smoothies that we had delivered to the booth last night.
So not only do you come to the park, you can get healthy in this park.
Now, was that Paula Abdul I saw you with? There were two celebrities that you were with down there. One was Paula Abdul, the other was Little Jose.
That is correct. Little Jose, he's fantastic. But I want to thank you again. And don't forget PCF.org and good health to everyone. And there's Jeff.
Michael Milken, thank you. You do great work. And thanks for all of that. Summer as baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 10th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. Brian Peterson in a scoreless game. Digs in, the bottom of the third. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Michael Milken stopping by. The home run challenge will start next week, and I'm sure that we'll have a game or two of the challenge, and hopefully Giancarlo Stanton, Hanley Ramirez can add to the money raised for prostate cancer research.
Now, you're talking about the All-Star game coming up. I was reading where Robinson Cano and Matt Kemp were just named captains of the home run derby.
I got a little information on that because there have been some talk about Matt Kemp wanting Giancarlo Stanton.
And he does.
And he does. And there was some discussion as to whether Stanton needs to make the All-Star team before being selected. Fastball misses away. The rules have changed. Now a player can be selected for the home run hitting contest and not be an all-star. It certainly helps if he is an all-star because he's already headed in that direction. I think Giancarlo Stanton will be both. I think he'll be an all-star.
I think he will too.
And I think he'll be in the home run hitting contest.
And he has said, Giancarlo has embraced that opportunity if given that opportunity to participate.
Peterson fly ball center field. Bourne backtracking.
So he's looking forward to it, but let's keep the votes coming too.
Yes, Marlins.com, where you can vote for any of your favorite Marlins or any favorite big league players for the All-Star game. Saturday spectacular. We talked about the Rays and Joe Madden coming to town. 7:15 start on Saturday. The party begins on the West Plaza at 5. Music, entertainment. After the game, a fireworks spectacular and a live concert on the West Plaza. 1-877 Marlins or go to Marlins.com. Well, here's John Buck, and last night, some encouraging signs from Buck at the plate. Although if you looked at the box score, Buck had a hit, 1 for 3. He walked, he singled, and then hit a laser liner to left that Jose Constanza ran down. But he pops this one a mile high behind second. Simmons is calling, and he makes the catch.
Tell you what, Rich, right now we have 2 young right-handers throwing really well. JJ, I think, through the first 3 innings, we've seen the best stuff that he's had all year, without question, when you factor in all of his pitches, his velocity, and we're seeing tremendous stuff from Randall Delgado as well.
Josh Johnson, his last start, he had an RBI base hit. And Delgado misses outside to the big man. That was JJ's first hit of the season. Swing and a miss. The Marlins are hopeful that the 9th overall pick, their first round selection, Andrew Heaney, turns out to be a lot like Josh Johnson, a pair of guys from Oklahoma.
JJ out of Jenks, Oklahoma.
And a swing and a miss.
And a high schooler, the difference.
Yep.
Heaney out of Oklahoma State.
Putnam City High School in Oklahoma City. And Heaney, during the commercial break last night, very excited about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Swing and a miss. Down goes JJ. Delgado's perfect through 3. so far tonight has been outstanding. In fact, he and Randall Delgado locked up in a scoreless duel. And JJ has punched out 5 Atlanta Braves. Cleveland Clinic brings you the 4th inning. It's come around a lot sooner than we are used to.
Well, we talked about JJ. His last outing against Atlanta was last April 13th in Atlanta. A 5-1 win. He went 7 1/3 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and had 9 strikeouts.
Here's the weird thing about Josh Johnson and the Braves. He's 5-3, an ERA of 2.29. That's all well and good in 15 starts. But his last 6 starts, a 1.70 ERA, but a 1-2 record with 3 no decisions. That one pulled down the right field line. That's going to stay fair. And into the corner it goes. Stan will pick it up. And Brian McCann will chug into second with just his 5th double of the season.
Well, we saw McCann stroke a ball into left field his first time up. Now he adjusts to a pretty good fastball on the inner part of the plate and lines it down that right field line.
Now Uggla, who hit the hardest ball of the night for the Braves. For the Marlins, thankfully it was right at Brian Peterson in center field. Johnson misses in. Uggla really is locked in right now. We talked about the walks that he's got. The 2 homers has pushed his total to 10, and he's driven in 37 right now. Tied for 3rd in the National League with 35 walks. He's a guy you never would have thought would be in that company.
Especially when we saw him come up as a rookie. You know, you saw Dan Uggla, the free swinger. When he connected, he had the pop. But he has become a much better hitter over the years. He's made adjustments. He stays away from the bad breaking ball much more now.
The leader in the National League is Joey Votto at 46. You expect that. David Wright, 2nd. You expect that. Even Chase Headley is a patient guy, but Uggla's tied with Headley for 3rd. Tapper wide of 3rd. And it counts 1-2. So I think for the Braves it bodes well that Uggla is patient, productive, and certainly enjoying a much better first half than he did last year. He was hitting 178 when he got to the 4th of July last year.
The amazing thing about that, he still ended up with a career high 36 home runs.
Well, that was close on the check swing. No swing, said Fielding Colbreth. Freddie Gonzalez saw Uggla have a 33-game hit streak, the 15th longest in the history of the game. That's another amazing thing that you would never expect out of Uggla. He had, along the way, a scoring change. He had a pinch hit late in the ball game to extend that hit streak. But nonetheless, 33-game hit streak for Uggla last year.
You think 33-game hit streak, you think of a lot of speed, and you think of a guy who doesn't strike out much, a guy who puts the ball in play. You don't think of a guy who swings the bat the way Dan Uggla does.
Brian McCann with a leadoff double here in the 4th in a scoreless ball game. Marlins and Braves. And Johnson misses away. Braves are set up 1st and 2nd, nobody out, and here comes Freddie Freeman. AT&T makes its appointed round
in the 4th inning. Oldest player to win 20 games in a season. Would it be a Necro?
Could be a Necro. Could be a Wilbur Wood. It could be the winningest left-hander of all time.
Breaking ball misses inside.
I'll just give that as a hint. I won't give the name. But at one time, and for a long time, was a member of the Milwaukee Braves.
Well, you got some love out of the crack staff.
I think I did
with those hints. Ground ball, and by Morrison into right field. Round third comes McCann, and the Braves have the first run of the night, and runners at the corners. That ball took an odd hop as it went by the runner, Ugla, and by Morrison. Take a look.
It looked like it skipped just past the runner, Dan Ugla. Got past Morrison. Just out of his reach. Ball had some really good topspin. Hit by Freeman. He gets his 36th RBI. Freddie Freeman tied for 9th in the National League with 36 RBIs now.
And here is Hayward. Johnson misses down low, so Josh Johnson was cruising. The Braves, though, a 1-0 lead. Hayward last night had 3 hits. Johnson steps off. Hit hard but foul. The walk to Ugla, the first that Johnson has allowed, but it's a costly one. Ugla's at third, Freeman's at first.
Here's a situation, Rich, where you also now have to look ahead after Hayward or Simmons. Then you have the pitcher hitting in the number 8 spot.
Ground ball, Infante out there. Reyes turn. Oh, it hit the runner. Did he have his hands up? If he had his hands up, the runner at first is out. And I think they're going to call it a double play. Here comes Freddie Gonzalez out to argue. Ugla scores. It's 2-0. Freeman is hurt. When a runner puts his hands up like that and deflects the ball.
Even though I think a lot of times the runner does that just out of habit. But he was so close, and watch this throw. Here's the double play about to be turned. His hand is up. That's what the ball hit. It certainly wasn't intentional on Freddie Freeman's part, but it certainly kept the Marlins from turning a double play.
You're right, not intentional, but it certainly looked painful. So the Braves get that run. The Marlins do get a double play. There's no run batted in for Hayward, who was going to beat the throw. Hayward runs well.
The thing about a game like this, where you see the way Delgado's throwing and the Braves getting on the board early, Freddie still chatting with first base umpire Fielding Colbreth, is that
they may have to put the runner back at third. It's a dead ball. Doesn't the runner return back to third? Yes, Ugla has to return, and so it's a 1-0 game. Ugla returns. It's a dead ball once it hits the runner.
So he had not crossed the plate when it hit Freeman.
That's a huge call, because if the Marlins just turn the double play, Ugla still scores.
And you're really happy about that, to get 2 outs, give up the run. There's the hand, the left-hander wrist. It hits a Freeman, but certainly before Ugla came across the plate. So, yeah, a tremendous call that certainly helps the Marlins in this situation. And to get to my point, as Simmons is being walked intentionally to get to Delgado, you hate to have the Braves get too big of a lead. Even a couple of runs is too big with the bullpen that they have once you get to the 7th inning.
That's a great point. And what looked like a really big inning brewing for the Braves. Now, if Johnson can get Delgado, it's just 1 run.
And he made great pitches to Delgado to strike him out back in the 3rd inning. And if this is a situation where those who question managers, Tony La Russa, Freddie, in this case, batting the pitcher number 8, this is a situation where he gets burned a little bit.
Johnson gets a strike. Let's see if Johnson can make it pay off. There are, of course, those times where Constanza will lead off an inning from the 9 spot, and you've got Constanza and Bourne back to back, and oftentimes that'll help produce a run.
And those are the times that it favors that move. Take it for what it's worth, but the Marlins lead the National League in issuing 25 intentional walks.
And the amazing thing there is if the throw, say the throw hits Freeman in the helmet or in the shoulder, it's not a double play. It's a live ball. But since the hand is up, the call is made, and the Marlins get the benefit not only of the double play, which they would not have gotten. Hayward would have beaten the throw, but they also take Uggla back out of the dugout, put him on 3rd. Breaking ball, runner was on the move. Reyes was breaking to the bag, and the Braves get that run home. Talk about a nice gamble. Freddie Gonzalez just did, and boy, does it pay off.
And boy, does that hurt. You talk about momentum changing in a baseball game. This is it. See Reyes going over to cover with the runner on the move, Simmons. Delgado, who came into the game with 4 hits, that's his 5th hit this year. So Andrelton Simmons makes it over to 3rd. Not a hit and run with the 2 out. It's just more of a run and hit with Simmons on the move. But great hitting by the pitcher, Randall Delgado, who picks up his first career RBI.
And that's the other part we talked about. Josh Johnson had to make it pay off. The Marlins were given an enormous opportunity to get out of the inning with just 1 run. And the Braves, to their credit, execute and get that run back. Uggla has scored twice in the inning.
Great execution on a part of the Braves, without question. And now the pitcher hitting in the number 8 spot goes back into the Braves' favor because they have Constanza up there.
Constanza 0 for 5 last night. Johnson struck him out in the 3rd. Breaking ball, ground ball, and Morrison has it at the bag. But Atlanta's on the board first in what looks like a tight one, 2-0.
to you by 1-800-NEED-HELP. Accident, slip, or fall, one call. That's all. 1-800-NEED-HELP. 1-800-633-3435. And by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. In Miami, it's 2-0 Atlanta, and the reverberations of that play at second base continue to be felt here. Eric Hinsky comes in for Freddie Freeman. Freeman hit in the hand by the Reyes pivot on that attempted double play, and he has left the ball game.
Yeah, you saw that throw somewhere on the hand or the wrist hitting Freddie Freeman. So now the veteran Eric Hinsky comes in. That takes a really good left-handed pinch hitter off the bench for Freddie Gonzalez, but it gets Hinsky in the game. Now let's see how the Marlins go after Delgado here second time around. Jay didn't fare as well against the Braves his second time around.
Reyes, Infante, Hanley Ramirez. Delgado catches the outside corner with a strike. Randall Delgado has spotted that fastball. He has 3 strikeouts, hasn't walked anybody. He's been perfect through 3 innings. Taken down low. Reyes a 15-game hit streak, our Cholula hot sauce spotlight player. His career long is 20. That was back in 2005. One pitch. Changeup dips low. And it's 2-1. You talked about the changeup for Delgado. Any guy that can spot a fastball at 95 and also mix that stuff in is pretty good.
And remember, one of the other little areas where he has struggled is a big inning. So if the Marlins can rattle him, get a couple of men on base, they can put together one of those big innings.
Reyes takes down low.
And nothing better to start a big inning with Jose Reyes reaching.
Three and one. Reyes with 28 walks, tied for 6th in the National League. Shoots that one out towards short, and Simmons makes the catch. Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
Rich, thank you very much. I know how you guys love sushi. I've got a great item for you. It's called the Lomo Roll. You'll have to go to Calle Ocho in a place called Mr. Yum's. Now, you see Logan Morrison wears his headband with the name of the restaurant, Mr. Yum, on it down here in Miami. And along with his agent, they came up with this Lomo Roll, which is $18.95, but over $5.50 goes to the American Cancer Society. As you know, that's one of his main causes. Now, what's on this? Well, it's got yellowfin tuna, a red tuna, tempura flakes, chili sauce, then a jalapeno on top, all wrapped in seaweed and rice. And I think there's a little red tuna on top as well. Lomo got to go to the restaurant, actually pick it out, and you can go there, Mr. Yum's. Does that sound like something you guys would be interested in?
Yes, and okay. Yes.
Oh, we'll have to get a sample.
Yeah, because I think we both enjoy tuna.
Yeah.
In the sushi roll.
He wears a shirt too, I think, with the name Mr. Yum underneath his jersey. We'll get a sample, and but it's a great cause again, and 30% of that charge goes right to the American Cancer Society.
We'll check it out. Calle Ocho, huh? For Mr. Yum's. Swing and a miss by Infante. And there's that changeup from Randall Delgado. Infante bounced to third back in the first.
You're confusing me though now. I'm just trying to figure out my phone app to order food at ballparks. I don't think I can order food from Calle Ocho.
There's no Mr. Yum app for your phone. There's the O2. And Infante does not look good at the plate right now. He chased a ball up in his eyes. 2 outs. AT&T trivia answer. Crack staff Tallahassee Bureau weighing in with a guess on this one.
Let's see if it's the winningest left-hander of all time. Warren Spahn.
And the crack staff Tallahassee Bureau say.
Was Tallahassee on that?
Yes, was on it. 13 seasons of 20 or more wins. Wondering what his salary would be in this era of arbitration and free agency. he could go to Mr. Yums an awful lot with that. Randall Delgado perfect tonight. 2-0 Atlanta. On June 8th, featuring post-game on-field concert with Latin Grammy Award-winning duo Chino y Nacho. Presented by Pepsi, the Marlins and the Reyes at 7:10. Pre-game party on the West Plaza starts at 5. For tickets, 1-877 Marlins or go to marlins.com. Rays in for a weekend series. The Red Sox follow. Right now, the Marlins have their hands full of with the Braves. A Subway 5th inning, 2-0. Braves on top. Josh Johnson to Michael Bourne. Fastball up and in. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. This was a pitcher's duel until the 4th, and the Braves chased across a couple of runs on 3 hits and a little daring do from their manager. Morrison off the bag to get it, smothers it, and steps on the bag.
Well, it's just a little thing, but sometimes it can mean a lot. The first time through the lineup, Josh Johnson was 8 of 9 first pitch strikes, getting ahead. We talked about how he was using everything and everything well. The second time through the lineup, just 2 of 9 first pitch strikes. And all of a sudden, too, now Rich, the Marlins have gone 15 consecutive innings without scoring.
Too much Tim Hudson last night, who went 9 innings, gave up 5 hits. Not only not scoring, but the Marlins have gone 4 innings without a hit here. So that same span, they haven't scored, and they have just the 5 hits from last night. Chino y Nacho have more hits than that, Tommy.
I guarantee they do.
.3-0 pitch at the knees and a strike. Prado has lined out, struck out. Fox Tracks illustrates pitch 4.
Now pitch 3 was a strike as well.
Tapper foul down that third base line.
Prado's one of those guys that's pretty even with his strikeouts and walks. He's struck out 25 times. He's walked 24.
Prado is a really good player. An all-star back in 2010. He and Omar Infante were all-stars that year. Infante as a super utility guy. Morrison has room and makes the catch, and he didn't even run into the wall. Nicely done. Time now for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. Dan Uggla's night last night, 10th game of 4 more hits, 16th multi-homer game, and 1 RBI shy of his career high. And of course, his second homer, his career number 200. The Braves counted on Uggla last night. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. McCann takes a breaking ball. And it's 0-1.
Even though McCann's first hit was that line drive single into left field, the shift is still on. The theory behind that is that most of the time when he hits one on the ground, he's going to pull it. If he gets it in the air, he's got a chance to hit one into left field. But if he rolls over and hits one on the ground, he's going to pull it into the shift.
You surprised that Omar Infante is not on the outfield grass?
Yeah, I have seen him sometimes on the grass with McCann, the hitter, because he certainly can do that. Because McCann doesn't run that well.
And McCann is just putting on a clinic how to hit against the shift.
Take notes, Logan Morrison over at first base.
3 for 3 night for McCann. And here's that guy Uggla again. A left index finger contusion for Freddie Freeman. Uggla pulls that one foul. It wasn't just last night in which Uggla showed that he was hot. Uggla had a nice 7 to 10 day ramp up coming into this one. Five for his last 8. Last 44 games. His average right around 300. And that has raised his average over 80 points.
He did get off to a little bit of a slow start, nothing like last year. But since April 18th, he's hit right around 300. A little bit over with the night he had last night.
Ball and a strike.
The one thing you hear about Dan Uggla, and you and I have both talked to many Braves players, coaches, is the way he handled his awful start last year. I mean, he hit below 200 each of the first 3 months, April, May, and June.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Uggla goes down, and Johnson gets his 6th strikeout. But the Braves lead it halfway through, 2-0.
Español es presentado en SAP por Toyota.
In Miami, Braves up 2-0. Cookie and
Hey,
Raul.
Richie.
Hi, guys.
Hi, how you doing, Richie and Tommy? How you guys doing?
Cookie, I tell you, you're looking great in the Tommy Bahama. You look nice and relaxed and comfortable over there.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful stadium with air conditioning. Of course, you feel wonderful in this ballpark.
Refreshing. All right, Giancarlo Stanton is up with Logan Morrison. And Justin Ruggiano to follow against Randall Delgado. And that ball is smoked down the left field line into the corner. Stanton around first. El doble. How's that, guys? Close?
Perfecto.
Muy bueno.
All right.
Doblete al left field.
Hey, we'll ask you guys, Cookie, especially what have you seen in the youngster Delgado that has been impressive for you?
Well, I think he has a very good fastball, and he's got a great changeup. And when he gets that changeup all over, like he has done so far, he uses it quite a bit. And he's fastball in 94, 95, and 96 miles an hour, and then that curveball, very effective. If he can pitch like he has done so far, in the strike zone, he's a tough contender to beat.
I think it's impressive also I don't know about you guys, his delivery is so fluid. It's amazing. He seems like he'll be a guy that hopefully will be able to avoid injuries that way, because it seems almost no effort when he comes home to the plate.
Well, there's another Panamanian right-hander that has avoided injury and it's still, well, until he was shagging balls in the outfield about a month and a half ago, and that's Mariano Rivera from Panama, who certainly is the greatest player in pitcher in Panama history.
Interesting scenario here with the Marlins getting their first base runner. All of a sudden, Delgado has to work out of the stretch, and also a change of signs. And so McCann went out there to just remind him and let him know of that.
Well, of course, when you have a rookie like him on the mound, and you want to make sure that every pitch that he calls is the right one, otherwise he can get crossed over, and then another runner may advance.
Morrison, a pop-up towards the line. Constanza's over, and he makes the catch. I almost said in talking about Mariano Rivera, the greatest player from Panama, but wasn't Rod Carew from Panama?
Yes, he was. One of the best hitters that we saw in many, many years here in the American League with Minnesota. Matter of fact, just to tell you a story,
this is a good one.
The All-Star game in Atlanta. In the 8th inning, Weaver tells me that I'm going to pinch hit for Rod Carew. And Carlton Fakes gets a base hit. Then I come up to bat and they announce Cookie Rojas hitting for Rod Carew, and they, hold your hair. Well, boo.
Broken bat roller. Hinsky well off the bag. Gets the out at first. Stanton is at third. Here comes Peterson with 2 outs. So you're getting booed in Atlanta for pinch hitting for Rod Carew.
That is true, but then I happily hit a 2-run homer to put the American League ahead.
Oh, nice. I like the ending to that story, Cookie.
Absolutely. My power was there all the time.
That's right. All right, guys, have a good show. It's a good
story.
story.
Guys, let's win this game. Come on.
All right.
The interesting thing is we were talking about players, pitchers from Panama with Mariano Rivera, Delgado, who has the nice fluid delivery, and there wasn't much more of a fluid swing than Rod Carew.
Yes.
So that must be the theme out of Panama.
Brian Peterson now, Marlins' first real shot at a run, with Stanton 90 feet away with 2 outs. And there's the changeup.
Yeah, things kind of fizzled quickly. Lomo going after the first pitch, not hitting it well, and hitting the shallow fly ball to the left, and then Ruggiano's out to the right side of the infield.
Peterson last night was robbed of hits on a couple of occasions. And he's seen 2 changeups. Counts 2-0. Marlins have their first hit, their first base runner, now looking for their first run. (3-0).
Not too many fastballs, and watching Delgado tonight, not too many of his fastballs are straight. He gets a lot of movement. Signed as a 16-year-old out of Panama.
At the knees. Fox tracks. That is right at the knees. So Peterson gets a 3-1 pitch to swing at.
You'd like to think he'd get fastball, but not necessarily so with the changeup that Delgado has. There's fastball.
The count now 3-2. Marlins were shut out last night and have yet to score tonight. Of course, last night it was a lot uglier. 11-0. The game really got away late. Liner in the left field, that's a base hit. And the Marlins have their run and cut the lead in half. It's 2-1. Good AB by Brian Peterson.
That's a terrific AB. Good to see by Brian Peterson, driving in Stanton. Got it to 3-2, stayed back, was able to hit that line drive. Looked like he got another fastball too from Delgado.
So Peterson's at first, and here now is Buck talking to Eduardo Perez about Buck. His last 3 games, he's shown progress. We told you last night. Buck with a base hit and a hard line drive out into the outfield. And Eduardo Perez said, you know, the things they've been working on and talking about is just trying to stay middle. Try to drive the ball up the middle, not get pull happy, keep the swing short and simple.
It's amazing the approach that a hitting coach, and Eduardo Perez does a great job at this, has to take with each hitter. Each hitter is an individual. He told me the other day he brought out some old charts that just had little dots of where hitters had hit balls, had gotten base hits, and he showed it to Jose Reyes, and Reyes said, "Who's that hitter? There's a lot of hits up the middle." He says, "It's you." From a few years ago. He said, "That's where I want you to hit the ball, up the middle."
Little tapper up the line. Prado makes the play, gets the out. Martin Prado. When we get back, Craig Minervini with a very special guest. And it's not Lil Jose.
Along to the top of the 6th inning. It is a pleasure to talk. One of my favorites, Paula Abdul is here, enjoying the baseball game, and also as part of the raising some awareness for prostate cancer. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is beautiful. I've never experienced a game quite like this. Being on the field, meeting the players.
You met just about everybody. All of a sudden, every player from all the teams came over. The managers, the coaches.
It was great. You know, I've hung in there in this business long enough to...
No wonder why it was quiet in the first couple innings. Little Jose even visited you.
Yes.
Right? All right, so you've had a chance to go not only to baseball games, but your basketball games lately, Celtics, Heat. And I understand your good friend Magic Johnson is a little upset.
I think everyone's upset, but I'm forever a Laker girl. I mean, that's, you know, I love being associated with being a Laker girl. It was my foray into the entertainment business, and I got to experience, you know, I feel one of the best times in NBA history. So
yes, you did, and then of course everybody's seen you on all the shows lately, American Idol, and then the X Factor.
Yes.
And that guy, I forgot his name. That was pretty big on one of those shows. I forgot his name.
I have no idea.
English guy.
No.
Yeah.
I have memory loss.
Black hair. Yeah.
I actually get tics when I start hearing.
Well, I don't want to bring that up then. Baseball is such a unique sport too. You enjoy the going to the park and seeing a game like this today? Because I know you're like a kid in a candy store.
I am a kid in a candy store. First of all, Marlins Park is probably one of those beautiful places I've ever seen. It is pristine. It's gorgeous. I met everyone. I met Mr. Loria, his lovely wife Julie. She took me to her. I'm plugging her Diamond Juices because I think it's really cool that.
Did you have one of them?
Yeah, I mean, how cool to have healthy, natural drinks. I love it. Yeah, I had a kale and spinach green drink. It was good.
Rich and Tommy, she was asking me how many home runs I thought Stanton might hit this year.
Right? I'm gonna place
what do you
my
think?
bet. 48.
48 homers. Okay. Rich and Tommy, that could be right there.
That's a little high, but I like
plus.
that. Yeah.
But
she's hoping for 50 plus, but you know,
I'm going to say 49.
All right, 49. What else is on the horizon? Anything else for you these days?
You know, I'm just slumming around lately. You know, and I'm having a great time. I'm working on a couple new TV projects, and I'm writing a book, and I know I'm doing a lot of things that you'll hear about real soon. But you know, right now I'm having the best time. I'm having fun.
Good to see you out here. We had a lot of fun seeing you, and I know the players did too today.
You know, the players are great. This has been amazing. Seriously, to be on the diamond and meet Billy. I met Billy.
Oh boy! How can you top that, guys? Thanks, Paula.
Thank you, dear.
All right, let's go back to you.
All right, thanks, Craig. As Josh Johnson has Eric Hinsky at first base, and he goes to work on Andrelton Simmons. Everybody was excited to meet Paula Abdul. You saw Dan Uggla snuggling up there, getting a photo.
Saw Tim Hudson walked over.
Little Jose was so excited he nearly jumped out of his Little Jose uniform.
A lot of the Marlins. That's great. I said between innings, we've had more celebrities here at Marlins Park this year than we had the last 6 years.
At Sun Life. That's true. Simmons swings and misses.
And why not? It's a beautiful place to come.
Of course, Miami is a destination place for many celebrities, entertainment, music, movies. Did you know that Rick Pitino is a season ticket holder?
You know, you told me that about a month ago, and I did not know that.
Struck him out. See, even our pregame producer, it's out of control.
Yeah, it's now if we could get Paula Abdul here in the booth for a nice picture, that would be nice, because you and I are working. Of course, we don't have the opportunity to schmooze with Craig and the way he does. Craig gets all the assignments like that.
Randall Delgado.
You know, and earlier, Rich, we saw Frank Fort schmoozing with Paula Abdul.
You know, I just think out of professional courtesy, it's better to just keep your distance. And you know, just tell her, hey, hi, how are you?
Yeah, see, there's Frank.
Now, does Frank go in for the hug or just a handshake?
I think Lil Jose was going in for the hug.
I don't think that's all. I think Lil Jose had had bigger things in mind. The breaking ball is swung on and missed. The count's 0-2.
And by the way, since the 4th inning when the Braves scored the 2 runs off Josh Johnson, he's come back nicely. Came back and had a nice 5th inning, and he's thrown the ball real well here after the leadoff walk to Hinske.
Buck digs it out, tags him out, and JJ gets through the 6th. Marlins a run shy of the Braves right now, 2-1. Wants you to find your beach this summer with the Marlins. Corona Light offering 6 lucky Marlin fans the chance to win 4 tickets and a Fiesta suite for an upcoming game at Marlins Park. Just go to your local participating retailer, look for the Corona Light display for details on how to enter and win. Relax responsibly. Now that's good Corona Light music. In Miami with the roof shut, the AC blowing, the Braves have a 2-1 lead over the Marlins in the bottom of the 6th. Randall Delgado looks sharp. Josh Johnson digs in. 9-1-2 for the Fish. With Jose Reyes and Omar Infante to follow. Marlins got their first hits and their first run in the 5th against the 22-year-old right-hander out of Panama. And a strike to Johnson. Delgado has been not only effective but efficient. He's thrown just 55 pitches in his 5 innings of work.
JJ, on the other hand, 92 pitches through 6 innings.
(0-2) from Delgado. It's outside. If you've just joined us, the Braves have lost Freddie Freeman to a hand injury. He was hit in the hand on a Jose Reyes throw, trying to complete a double play. Freeman was sliding in, his hand was up, and the throw hit him in the hand. We were told left index finger contusion, but Freeman went immediately from the field right through the runway and down into the clubhouse. There was no doubt that he was injured.
It really was a huge play at the time of the game because the double play was called, and Dan Uggla was runner at third. He had to go back to third base, and he was the second run. He eventually came in to score on Delgado's base hit. The pitcher singled him home.
And how big is that base hit by Delgado now? And of course the trick to that was all Josh Johnson had to do to get out of that inning and make that call pay off was to get Delgado. And Freddie Gonzalez, after the Marlins intentionally walked Andrelton Simmons, had Simmons running. That brought Reyes to the bag, and that's where Delgado hit the ground ball, the vacated spot at short. And that was the second run. Uggla crossed the plate for the second time.
Yeah, it was really an interesting sequence for the Braves.
2-1 to Reyes.
So Delgado has had a whole lot to do in this game, not only with his pitching but with his bat.
Reyes has not extended his hit streak. It sits at 15 games.
Lined out last time up, hit the ball pretty well to short.
Fouls off that changeup, and it's 2-2. Marlins month of June opened with the Phillies in Philadelphia. The Marlins won 2 of 3 there. The Braves shut them out last night. And Reyes goes down swinging. Delgado continues to shine. Tico brings you a look at the standings. Keep in mind that the Nationals and the Mets are back at it tonight, and the Nationals have a 4-2 lead in the top of the 6th. So Washington trying to get win number 32. The Mets are a game and a half back. The Fish a game back. Atlanta's 2 back. The Phillies and the Dodgers are tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, you're seeing Randall Delgado at his best. He hasn't walked anybody in this one. And if you go back his last 3 outings, he gave up 16 hits and 11 runs in a total of about 15 innings. So it's a lot different Randall Delgado than the Rays and the Reds and the Cardinals saw.
You know, the funny thing is, we said the same thing about Tim Hudson last night. Hudson had not looked good.
He'd given up 12 earned runs in his previous 2 starts.
And all he does last night is throw a 5-hit shutout. 1-1 coming. That pitch is out. And that's where Delgado has topped out at 96. Two-1. And now it's 3-1. The Marlins would love to get Infante aboard with Hanley Ramirez on deck. Crowd last night of 25,000 was ready to make some noise, but they never had a chance.
Yeah, they're anticipating something tonight. I mean, you have a nice crowd in the Clevelander area once again. I'm looking up at the Budweiser Bowtie Balcony Bar up there. There's a lot of standing room there. So they're anticipating something. They just want to see a little Marlins action. Good crowd up there. Actually saw Giancarlo hit one over that sign in batting practice.
Three-1. Infante turns on it and fouls it off. Counts 3-2. It's going to be an interesting stretch because the Marlins will know what it's like to be in the American League East for a 2-week period with 12 straight games against the Rays and the Red Sox. Home and home with the Rays, home and home with the Red Sox. And Delgado, seemingly when he needs it, just reaches back and throws it by guys. He strikes out the side in the 6th. Going in the top of the 7th here in Miami. Randall Delgado didn't give up a base hit or a run until the 5th. Jose Reyes has yet to extend his hit streak. And just like last night, the Marlins frustrated at the plate. It was Tim Hudson last night. It's Randall Delgado tonight. So far, a nice effort out of Josh Johnson. Look at the strikeouts.
Yeah, absolutely, with the exception of the 2 runs the Braves scored in the 4th inning. Every once in a while, we've had that conversation, and early in the year we saw JJ, when he had his struggles, having trouble putting hitters away. And that has not been the case tonight.
And I think if you are a Marlins fan and you've watched Josh Johnson over his last 4 or 5 starts, you really have to be encouraged, because his velocity has been a little steadier. Instead of once in a while touching 94, 95, he's been living 94, 95. And as you pointed out, he's starting to put hitters away. Little tapper off the mound. Johnson has it, flips to first, and he gets the speedy Jose Constanza.
Yeah, to punctuate that, in 6 of his 8 strikeouts tonight, he started 6 of those hitters 0-2 and was able to put them away.
17 pitches of 95 or more. There was a time 2 or 3 years ago where Johnson was among the league leaders for fastest speed on a fastball per average. You wouldn't know that by watching him his first half a dozen starts this year. Michael Bourne is 1 for 3. A little comebacker. JJ underhand flip. It would be nice if Johnson has a short pitch inning here, and the Marlins have the option of bringing him back out for another inning.
Yeah, in that 4th inning, it was a leadoff double by Brian McCann. JJ walked Dan Uggla. Freeman had an RBI single, and Delgado an RBI single.
Prado, you can see the pine tar on the bat and on his back from the follow through with his swing. He's got big splotches of it. And if you've never smelled pine tar, it's exactly what you would think it would smell like a pine tree, and the sap and the tar that you get out of one.
Love shaking guys' hands around the batting cage. Get a lot of pine tar. Helps us up here grip our pencils better. But JJ's still throwing exceptionally well. Right at 100 pitches now.
Three and one. See the pine tar up on that right shoulder. Ground ball. Reyes gathers it in and throws him out. And so Josh Johnson, a 10-pitch inning. He's at 102. He probably has another inning left in him. 2-1 Braves. play of the game, brought to you by Home Depot. Doing more on defense. This was the odd double play. The throw that hit the hand and injured Freddie Freeman. Marlins got the double play. In fact, there was a runner at third. Dan Uggla, he came across. But the call with the ball hitting Freeman is a dead ball, and thus Uggla had to return to third base. Now, at the time, it looked like the Marlins would wriggle out with just the one run, but Uggla ended up scoring on the single by Randall Delgado, and he certainly has been the headliner in this ball game tonight.
I think in that conversation you saw Freddie talking to Adrian Johnson, the second base umpire, kind of raising both his hands as if to say that Freeman didn't do that. Well, he didn't do that, but and it wasn't intentional, but because that hand was up and deflected the ball, the double play was called.
Delgado starts Hanley off with a changeup, and he takes it for a strike. It's 0-1. So Delgado's not afraid to throw this changeup to right-handers. He's thrown it a lot to lefties. Hanley's 0 for 2. He has struck out and tapped out.
Right now, he's locked into, and when I say he, Randall Delgado is locked into fastball changeup. Early on, we saw a few curveballs, but he feels good about his fastball and his changeup right now.
One. Fastball up. Marlins just need base runners. As you see, Johnny Venter's up.
And now we are at that point in time of a close game that you start checking in with Freddie Gonzalez's bullpen.
Venters normally gets the 8th. Craig Kimbrell the 9th. Pitch is out. And it's 3-1. Eric O'Flaherty usually gets the 7th if needed, but Delgado's been so good. Here he is in the bottom of the 7th with a 2-1 lead. He hasn't walked anybody tonight. And Hanley swings at a pitch that looked like it was ball 4. You can see pitch number 5. And so the count's 3-2. Another pitch that was in, and Hanley got jammed. One out. Family Sunday is coming up. That's the last game of the Reyes 3-game series. Purchase your tickets in advance for Bark at the Park with the Humane Society of Greater Miami. Plus, kids get an Emilio Bonifacio Lo Viste t-shirt and can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. For tickets, go to marlins.com.
You know, the last time that Delgado won as many as 7 innings was back on May 3rd. He went 8 innings against the Phillies. But all his starts, last few starts, 5 1/3, 5 1/3, 4, 6 2/3.
Stanton has doubled, his 16th double, and he's flied to left. And there's the changeup again to a right-hander. Delgado has been so good at mixing that pitch. He's just given up the 2 hits. Bounces one up there.
Finally went with the breaking ball. Yeah, he has such a good changeup because he has great arm action with it. The release and the action looks like a fastball, and instead of 94, it's 84.
Hasn't walked anybody, has 7 strikeouts. Right now he is out dueling Josh Johnson. Stanton takes down low. Nissan presents leaders of the game, National League leaders.
Now, do you think he'll do what he did with Hanley? 3-1, he came back with 2 fastballs.
Well, Hanley got himself out because both those fastballs were in and off the plate.
No.
It's his first walk, and it's Stanton, and here comes Logan Morrison. And here comes Freddie Gonzalez, and wow, he's not going to hesitate. He wants the lefty to pitch to Morrison. So Randall Delgado, who's cruising along with a 2-hitter and a 2-1 lead, is coming out of this ball game. So Delgado logs 6 1/3. Braves going to their bullpen, and we will as well. Here is our Jose Cuervo call to the bullpen. By downloading the free MLB.com at the ballpark app for your iPhone or Android. Any ballpark across baseball, including Marlins Park, just place your order on your phone. It'll be ready for you when you get there. Out of the bullpen, the left-hander for the Braves, Johnny Venters, throws a strike to Logan Morrison. You got Morrison, then Justin Ruggiano, with Giancarlo Stanton at first. 1 out, bottom 7. Venters not as dominant as he was last year when he had a 1.84 ERA and made a whopping 85 appearances. His breaking ball misses outside.
And you've seen his 2 pitches. Fastball, sliders. Good stuff with both of them. Always tough on lefties. By Freddie Gonzalez making this move, it tells you a little bit about the makeup of his team. Number one, the makeup of his bullpen. To zero in on that, he certainly is confident in those guys at the back end. The other thing about Delgado, he'd thrown just 80 pitches, but 22 pitches over the last 4 hitters. So he saw a little bit of that in his young right-hander.
Venters a guy that rarely gives up anything to left-handed hitters, let alone home runs. He gave up a homer to Bryce Harper on the 25th of May, just the 3rd career homer against a left-handed hitter. 1-2, and he strikes out Morrison. That was quick.
Well, last year Venters had 96 strikeouts in his 88 innings of work, and a lot of those, unfortunately, were left-handers on pitches just like that. The Lomo.
Braves bullpen is active right now. There's a right-hander loosening up. Ruggiano stands in. And he drives one to right field, a sinking liner that Hayward makes a running catch on. And the Marlins, who did it a few times last night, hit another line drive that is speared by a Braves outfielder. Mike Minor, Mark Burley, lefties matchup. Second time these two have faced each other. Burley 5-5. Already with 10 decisions.
Yeah.
And Minor is 2-4.
Burley, by the way, and the Marlins came out on top in the meeting of those two lefties in Atlanta, 8-4.
This is a 2-1 ball game, and it's the top of the 8th. Marlins have just 2 hits against Randall Delgado, and for a couple of outs, Johnny Venters.
Let's see if JJ can get Brian McCann out. He hasn't been able to do that 3 times.
Couple singles and a double. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. McCann, Ugla, Hinsky for the Braves. Notice how the Marlins shift has kind of adjusted to what McCann has done tonight. Pops it foul. Remember his first at bat, everybody was way over.
Not quite as exaggerated this time.
He singled the left. There's the shift. Reyes was on the first base side of the bag, but since McCann's gone over on that side for a couple of hits, that's where Reyes is right now.
Thought you were going to say McCann's gone Tony Gwynn on him.
Or Rod Carew.
Or Rod Carew, who we were talking about.
We were talking about Carew and Gwynn. JJ jammed him. High pop-up. Infante's out there. Reyes as well, and it's Infante who makes the catch.
And JJ still throwing good stuff. That was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that got in on McCann.
Dan Ugla coming up. Ugla has lined out, struck out, and walked, the Toyota trend. Braves much better when they homer. Not so much when they don't. And they're a much better team, these Atlanta Braves are, when Chipper Jones is in the lineup.
I think they're hoping to get Chipper back this weekend.
That would be good news for the Braves. 19-5 are the Braves with Chipper Jones in the starting lineup. 11-20 without him. Ugla busted his bat. Reyes gobbles it up and quickly gets it to first.
Now the Braves, Rich, they have a rough schedule in the month of June as well. They play the Blue Jays in their beginnings of interleague play. They have back-to-back home and road series against the Yankees. They play the Orioles in Atlanta, and they play Boston at Fenway.
I think both the National League East and the American League East, right now, the announcers for all those teams are saying the same thing about everybody, because those are the dominant teams in terms of interleague play. The National League East is getting a bulk of American League East. The American League East is getting the bulk of the National League East. And both those divisions clearly are the best divisions in each league.
We should set out a challenge. We should have our crack staff keep track and see how the National League East fares against the American League East.
What would you award the winner? Is there some sort of cup or some?
I don't know, maybe a Reyes Sunshine Smoothie.
I would go for that. Maybe a hug from Paula Abdul. Swing and a miss. Ball bounces away. Buck's going to have to run it down. Hinsky doesn't run well, but he runs well enough to get there. That's one of those balls that if it gets through, you're hoping it gets through cleanly so that there's some sort of ricochet. But when it trickles back, it's going to stop once it gets there, and Buck had a long way to go.
Well, again, some good pitches to get a veteran hitter to chase that, but all the way over near that on-deck circle of the Braves, just too far for Buck to go.
And that's it. Ozzie Guillen, not many guys get lifted after they strike out what should have been the third out. Out recorded, so 7 2/3 with Hinsky down at first base. Randy Choate comes in to face the lefty Jason Hayward.
Yeah, JJ tying his season high with the 9 strikeouts. And it's a tough decision for a manager, but one thing Ozzy's thinking of is wins. He'd love to leave JJ in, maybe pick up a win if the Marlins could lead, but you know what? He saw the left-handed bat of Hayward coming up, and he wanted to match up with him with the lefty Randy Choate.
Choate with the breaking ball that misses outside to Hayward. 3 hits last night, an 0 for 3 in this one. 22,619. The crowd here tonight, and I think that's the smallest crowd that the Marlins have had at Marlins Park this year.
I think you're right.
Nationals and Mets are now bottom 7. It's 4-3 Nationals. Phillies lead the Dodgers 4-3, top 6. 2-0 from Choate. And he pours across the strike. There's a strike.
A little bit of a late call by Lance Barksdale, but it was in the zone in Fox Tracks. Jason Hayward didn't agree. Not sure Freddie sold on that call either.
2-2. Hayward reaches out, pops it up. Buck back for a look. That's over the screen and out of play. I was off by 400 people against the Rockies, 22,242. This is the second smallest crowd. The Astros today made news. They have reached a verbal agreement on a contract with the first overall pick in the draft, Carlos Correa, the Puerto Rican shortstop.
Big kid, 6'4". They also drafted the Florida Gators shortstop, Nolan Fontana. I think in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Swing and a miss. Choate finishes off Jason Hayward, who throws the bat, throws the helmet. Marlins down a run, bottom 8. Army drive of the game, the Marlins' only run of the game. Peterson, a single to left back in the 5th, and scored Giancarlo Stanton. And that's the type of night it was against Randall Delgado. Here at Marlins Park, it's 2-1. Atlanta on top. Now Johnny Venters finished the 7th. He got the last 2 outs for Delgado in the 7th. And the roles are reversed a bit now. We used to see O'Flaherty, then Venters, then Kimbrel. Now it's Venters, O'Flaherty, and you would expect if the Braves keep this lead, Craig Kimbrel, the Rookie of the Year in the National League, is waiting in the bullpen.
Yeah, Kimbrel 16 of 17 in saves. So right now it's up to O'Flaherty to get it to the hard-throwing right-hander, and it's going to be Donovan Solano pinch hitting for Brian Peterson. Ozzie going with the right-handed bat against the lefty throwing O'Flaherty.
Solano takes a strike. John Buck will follow, and then the pitcher spot. Solano has been outstanding as a pinch hitter. He is 3 for 6. And he has done everything the Marlins have asked him to do. And the Fish, as a whole, the best in the National League. It's funny how pinch hitting stats don't really recognize the American League. But there are pinch hitters in the American League. They do use them, but when you talk pinch hitting stats, the focus is always on the National League because there's more of them, and it's more of an impact on the game.
Yeah, that's the key, more of an impact on the game.
Comebacker. And O'Flaherty flips it on to first. Solano is out. There's 1 out here in the 8th. And John Buck comes to the plate. Roy Halladay today addressed the media in Philadelphia. No real groundbreaking news, just the same, I guess, diagnosis of the first opinion, a lat injury. His rotator cuff showed minimal change. Mets physician David Altchek was the guy who, or the physician, and I don't think you can call a physician just a guy. David Altchek was the physician that rendered the second opinion. 1-0 to Buck.
So I think the Phillies thought there'd be a rest period. I think they're thinking a couple of months so before Halladay's back.
Yeah, 8 weeks. I think 3 weeks at the minimum of inactivity, and then try to ramp him back up. Halladay said today it really wasn't any pain issue. He just was having trouble repeating his arm slot, and as the Marlins would know better than anybody, that arm slot for Halladay can be deadly, especially when he repeats it.
Yes.
Buck fouls it off, and the count's 2-1.
One of our crack staffers is submitting a pinch hitting theory. In the National League, pinch hitters are used for strategy. In the American League, they're used for a desperate need for scoring runs when you're behind in the 8th and 9th. To pinch hit maybe for a light hitting infielder, somebody like that.
One is up. Now that's selling out.
Yeah, that's selling out, laying out.
And he made the play.
And he got it.
You see him hold the ball up?
He got it.
Three-one coming. Fly ball, right field, deep. Hayward back, and he stops at the track and makes the catch. John Buck to the warning track, 2 outs. And here comes Donnie Murphy. Mujica and Bell. Mujica if the Marlins do not tie it. Bell if the Marlins tie it or take the lead. Murphy has a couple of pinch hits this year, including a pinch hit home run.
Yeah, he's joined that pinch hit brigade. Not quite the same type of fraternity that the bullpen has, pinch hitters. But they certainly can relate.
That foul ball reaches the seats. Who were the pinch hitters that you used to hang out with?
Well, you always tried to hang out with the guys who were similar. So the left-handed pinch hitters, a Tim McCarver, a Jay Johnstone.
So there was a divide between the right-handed and the left-handed guys. I'm sure the switch hitters were really conflicted at that point. Ugla throws out Murphy, and the Marlins come up empty in the 8th, down 2-1.
At the center field set coming up on our Marlins Live postgame presented by Checkers. Take a look at Josh Johnson's terrific effort tonight. We'll also look at the Big Mac attack, and we'll set you up for the Minor Burley matchup. Finale of the series coming at you tomorrow night. All right, now let's get back to Rich and Tommy.
Thank you, Craig. The Fish and the Braves, low-scoring game. Little things matter. And the Marlins, in the course of making this pitching change, are going to keep Solano in the ball game. Donovan's out at left field. That's going to push Justin Ruggiano over to center field.
A couple of moves that show the versatility of two guys. And Edward Mujica comes in to work this ninth inning, but we saw Solano start a game in left field, and with the acquisition of Justin Ruggiano, we knew that he was able to play all three outfield spots.
And it's not really a double switch because Mujica stays in the 9th spot. Edward trying to get these 3 outs and get this ball game to the bottom of the 9th and keep it a 1-run game. Andrelton Simmons takes a breaking ball, and that misses outside.
And then a pinch hitter, Juan Francisco, is Craig Kimbrell. Gets loose.
Mujica misses on his first 2 pitches, and it's 2-0. Popped up. Hanley's calling. Reyes is there just in case. And Hanley makes the catch. Mojica has the first out. And here comes Francisco, the pinch hitter for the Braves. And this, of course, is the pitcher spot. Freddie Gonzalez, the first 2 games of this series, has had the pitcher hitting 8th with the speed of Constanza hitting 9th.
I was thinking about that and kind of looking ahead at tomorrow's matchup. I don't think he'll do that because with Burley on the mound, Constanza might not play. And I think if Constanza's not in the lineup, then he'll have the pitcher hitting in the normal number 9 spot. We could see our old friend Matt Diaz in the lineup tomorrow.
We'll have to run the Matt Diaz clip from last year and see if the crack staff can unearth it. Diaz explaining the pronunciation of his name. Of course, in Tallahassee, you don't need any help. Diaz was a terrific Seminole. Change up, ground ball. Morrison waits for it, gathers it in, flips, and Mojica's there. Well, where Mojica has a couple of outs here in the 9th. And here comes Constanza. Marlins in the 9th will have the top of their order, Reyes, Infante, and Ramirez. So the Fish have got exactly who they would choose going into the 9th. The Braves have got exactly who they would want on the mound going into the 9th, with Kimbrel ready to go. Mojica needs to get this out to get it to the bottom of the 9th inning. Little tapper, Mojica has it, little flip, just like that. And that's what Mojica does best, is pound the strike zone and get out. Bottom of the 9th, here comes Kimbrel. And here comes the top of the order for the Fish. The nation's largest 4G network, AT&T, Rethink Possible. And by Checkers. Feast on. In downtown Miami tonight, the Atlanta Braves are 1 run better than the Fish. 2-1 in the bottom of the 9th. The 2011 National League Rookie of the Year is on for Atlanta. Craig Kimbrel. Kimbrel just 24. As Tommy pointed out, he is having a very similar season to last year. He's blown just 1 save. His ERA is under 2. Opponents hitting 143. And he has that Silver Surfer stretch to start the at-bat. And Reyes takes down low.
He has that live fastball. He has a nasty slider. The best description I've heard of Kimbrel, who's about 5'11", is that he's very similar to a right-handed Billy Wagner.
1 ball, 1 strike. One. Reyes check swing. Did he go? No swing. That was close.
And this could be the last shot for Jose Reyes to continue that hitting streak.
Reyes tonight was struck out, lined out, bounced out. 2-1. The Marlins have seen 2 closers in their last 2 series who have the most imposing stretches and pre-pitch routines in the National League. Jonathan Papelbon, of course, long of the American League, now with the Phillies. Papelbon has that stare down and then peek up, and Kimbrel's got that great stretch look. His 2-2 is down low.
We've talked a lot about it. You read a lot about it. The struggles down the stretch of that bullpen of the Braves. They're the leaders per 9 innings. Aroldis Chapman just going ahead of everybody. How about Jason Grilli on that list? But Kimbrel's ERA in the month of September was 4.76 last year. And you look at his ERA each month, it was in the 1s or it was nothing. And he started to wear down as September, especially the last couple of weeks.
Well, of course, September was a nightmare for the Braves last year. They had an 8.5 game lead in the wild card over St. Louis on September 5th. And when they blew that lead, it was the largest lead ever blown in September. And that lasted for about an hour before the Red Sox blew their lead against the Orioles. That was a 9-game lead. 3-2 coming. He struck him out with a fastball. One of the games that certainly hurt the Braves. Remember this at Sun Life. Emilio Bonifacio, Chipper Jones lost the ball in the lights. Kimbrel was in. It was a 1-run game, and then Infante hit it out. And that was a painful and costly loss on the 19th of September for Atlanta. And here is Infante. He takes a breaking ball down low. Chipper Jones was asked about this ballpark and about the old ballpark last night, and one of the things he pointed out was the lights in that football stadium were built for football and adjusted for football once you got to August, and very difficult for outfielders. And as you saw, third baseman Infante with a rip, and he fouls it back. These lights, much more friendly for baseball,
are built for baseball.
Kimbrel throwing hard. He buries another breaking ball, and he's 2-1. Maybe he's thinking about that high fastball that Infante rode out last September.
Infante's last home run was May 8th.
Ground ball, Simmons to first in time. And it's down to Hanley Ramirez, the last chance for the Marlins against Craig Kimbrel.
You gotta like what you see from Andrelton Simmons. Very smooth and short.
All the reports that we had read and heard about Simmons is that his glove was major league ready, and had he not been injured in the spring, he would have made the club and not Tyler Pasternicki. Hanley's 0 for 3, has struck out and bounced out twice. Kimbrel leads the National League in saves. He can't seem to throw the breaking ball for a strike, though it doesn't seem to matter right now.
Yeah, you know, if you're a hitter, that's one thing you try to pick up as you watch a guy work. And yeah, I don't think he's thrown a slider for a strike, but you're right. He has he has enough on his fastball that he can get by.
And 97 with movement will get you places. He saved the win on Sunday against the Nationals. His 16th. He struck everybody out that he faced in the 9th inning. He threw the slider for a strike and caught the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'll never forget that series in Los Angeles a number of years ago. Eric Gagne got 3 saves in the series, faced 9 batters and struck out 9.
Giancarlo Stanton on deck. Kimbrel, not only the Rookie of the Year, but also a National League All-Star last year. Oh, low strike. Hanley doesn't like it, and he walks out of the box. Fox Tracks has it on the black and barely at the knees.
He has called others there in that same spot tonight. That's no consolation to Hanley right now.
No, and he's got to be thinking in this at bat, Kimbrel finally has thrown the breaking ball for a strike for the first time in the 9th. Let's see if he dusts it off on the 2-2. Fastball 98.
Yeah, he dusted out the 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Freddie Gonzalez. The Braves win this one. It will be written that a daring move by Gonzalez in the Braves' 4th inning has been the difference. His pitcher at the plate, runners at the corners. There's the breaking ball, and there's the ground ball. And the Braves get the win. And by starting the runner in that 4th inning with Randall Delgado at the plate, Freddie Gonzalez opened up Jose Reyes' spot at short, and Delgado hits a ground ball into left field. That run that scores is the difference in the game on a night where Josh Johnson and Delgado dueled. And Randall Delgado, the 22-year-old, just a